If Google Ads keeps optimizing the wrong things in your account, it's probably not the algorithm. It's your conversion tracking which is giving the wrong signals, and this is breaking your ads. I assess many Google Ads accounts, and 90% of them have conversion tracking working, with some conversions being tracked, events being fired, but the owners complain that they can't scale. The performance is really hit and miss. They can't really rely on Google Ads as a source of new leads. Clicks come in, but the CPA is never reliable. Most of the time, Google doesn't understand what your business needs, what is your target, what is real business. And this is because you are feeding the wrong information back to Google. So Google is only doing what you are telling Google to do. They just try to statistically replicate whatever you consider a conversion. That's what you need to define very, very clearly. And most of the time, Google Ads managers are not doing this correctly. Every user that is sent from Google Ads to your website is feeding some information back to Google. Google understands these signals, and then it will try to optimize to replicate users that are working the way you want. So if one of these users is performing a page view and you set that up as a conversion, Google is going to try to get more users that behave like that one. But if this signal is weak, is duplicated, is not firing correctly, Google is never going to understand exactly what you want for your business. Let me give you 4 examples of broken tracking. In some accounts, I see conversions as page views. Anytime a user goes and reads one page or lands on one page, that would be a conversion. That's not really a conversion. It's just a visit. It shouldn't be treated as a conversion. Another example is just a click on a button. Clicking on a button is not really a conversion. It should be something else in that funnel. So first we want the visitors, and then performing an action, and only the actions that are very valuable for our businesses should be considered a conversion. A form submission should be a conversion, but sometimes the way we are tracking this is not correct because we are not validating if this form submission actually work. And sometimes there are a few conversions firing at the same time, duplicating that signal and letting Google think that we had more than one conversion when we actually only had one. If we had all these conversions that I just mentioned, for Google, they are all equally valuable. So Google is just going to try to replicate whatever is easiest. In this case, it will be conversion number 1, page views. Let's focus on page views. The client said that that is a conversion, so I can get tons of this based on the last few weeks. So let's try to replicate that and provide the user with tons of these conversions. This is where all your problems will start. Google will understand that these conversions are meaningful to your business, where it's actually not the case. And when you optimize for maximize conversions, for example, using smart bidding, Google is going to statistically replicate more of the same, which is get me more of these conversions, including page views. Google will find a very easy way to get you tons of page views, but that's actually not delivering clients for you. Whose fault is it? Google is doing exactly what you wanted. So before focusing on bidding strategies, checking creatives, reviewing keywords, you should review conversion tracking, because probably that's the first mistake that you made and the first thing that you need to go check and probably fix. Smart bidding is never the solution to this. It's actually making the problem even worse because you have told Google with the wrong signals, and Google is just replicating more of the same errors. The issue here is that getting more conversions is not going to fix anything. It's just going to make your issue harder to fix. More bad signals equals worse results in Google. So how do we fix this? First of all, judge what conversions do you think are actually valuable to your business. If it's an e-commerce, that would be sales. If it's lead generation, that would be your lead forms or phone calls. Try to reduce the number of conversions that you are feeding to Google so the algorithm doesn't get tons of different signals. Your primary conversions should represent real business intent. Of course, you can always have some other conversions like secondary conversions, which are good for statistics and data analysis, but not for video strategy optimization. Also, you should give some time for Google to understand these new signals that you just fixed by not using smart bidding too quickly. Let it get some volume, get a few clicks, using manual strategies like manual CPC, get some volume in there, and once you start seeing these conversions coming in, you can then move on and start using smart bid strategies like maximize conversions or maximize conversion value. If you do this, you will soon realize that the conversions will stabilize, performance will be a lot more predictable and steady in your account because Google can understand exactly what business is for you. At this point, you can start thinking about scaling if the cost per acquisition is what you are comfortable with. Remember that Google Ads and its algorithm is very powerful, but it's not intelligent. You have to feed the right data and the right signals with the proper conversion tracking and thinking what that conversion means to your business. Google then will understand your business and it will execute your instructions. You want to maximize conversions? That's great, I can do that. You want a max CPA? I will try to get there as well. But it all starts from proper conversion tracking. If you want Google Ads to work logically, you need to also feed logical information so the results can be accurate and predictable. This video is a part of a series that I'm creating about why some Google Ads accounts are failing and all the issues related to tracking, which is mainly the reason why they fail, and how to fix it as well. So if you are interested, please consider subscribing. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks and happy tracking.